Peep game family, when you decode and interpret the Bible, Torah, and Quran properly, you get more evidence of one of the most important and fundamental truths that our ancestors protected and passed down to us, which is that God transformed into man. God literally became man, meaning that we are blood descendants of the people who physically created this universe. Now, that's the truth that the white man who formed the Luciferian priesthood took that truth, changed it, and fed it back to us to make us believe that God created man as something different and distinct from itself, or created us to be anything other than God in physical form. Let's start with the Bible. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 7 says that man is the glory of God. Now pause. You have to excuse the Luciferian King James Version when they talk about women in this passage. We already know the Luciferians had to fight against the divine feminine because her nature is diametrically opposed to their wickedness, and she would never allow their wickedness to take place during this cycle. So for now, just ignore what the King James Version says about women in this passage, and later I'm going to show y'all that the woman is also the glory of God in the original book of Genesis from the Nazarene Essenes, the Nazarite priesthood. Okay? Now, to decode that statement that man is the glory of God, we're going to look at the word glory in Hebrew, which is kavod. Now, because of the root of the word kavod, it's also associated with the concept of weight or heaviness. So if we say that man is the glory of God, we now can say that man is the weight or heaviness of God. Now, what does that do? It brings God, which is a spiritual concept in the scripture, to now a physical concept of weight, because weight is used to describe the physics of something, the physical weight of something that exists in the real physical world. So man is now the physical weight of God, meaning man is God in the physical world. Now let's look at the Torah. Genesis chapter 2 verse 7 says that God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Now most of y'all are so focused on the formation of man from dust into a body that you completely miss the transformation of God from spirit into breath. Now breath is a physical concept. You can feel it, you can smell it, and if it's cold enough, you can see it. So what that means is that God first appeared in the physical world as breath, and then he entered into the dust, which created a living soul. You get what I'm saying? And if you don't think breath is a part of us, just know that oxygen is inside your body, and if you don't have it, you're definitely dead. You are not alive if there's no oxygen in your body. And just to remove all doubt, all we got to do is look at the word into. That word into, it denotes a physical repositioning of something from the outside going to the inside. So that means God appeared on the outside of man, first in the physical world as breath. God entered the nostrils of the dust that he formed, and now that dust became a living God, a physical God. That's what this scripture is saying. Now let's look at the original book of Genesis from the Nazarene priesthood, which is the Nazarite priesthood, opposite of the Luciferian priesthood, which has forced its scriptures and its concepts and its ideology on the whole entire world during the cycle of the devil. Now, it says, Genesis chapter 5, the only begotten son and daughter of Jade and Janah, which, to catch y'all up to speed, is Yahweh in the beginning of Genesis, separates from one single entity into masculine and feminine polarities of Yahweh, meaning that God transcendent, the spirit of God being now masculine and having a feminine counterpart. And it says that, yea, Jah will emanate a portion of himself, which will be the first son of Jah, and Jalah will emanate a portion of herself, which will be the first daughter of Jalah. And the first son of Jah will be the only son of Jah, directly begotten by Jah. And the first daughter of Jalah will be the only daughter of Jalah, directly begotten by Jalah. So you see, the Nazarites, they did not hide the fact that women are also equally the glory of God, or the weight of God on the feminine side, and men are the glory of God on the masculine side, independent of each other. That's the way it's taught in the Nazarene priesthood. Now I'm going to do y'all even better, and we're going to go directly to the secrets of Africa from the 24 elders that was given to us by the Botswana tribe. And I like this because it's plain language. There's no parables. There's nothing to decode. It's none of that old English, none of that. Let's read what it says. Upon arriving on the first earth, the one mind of God incarnated instantly in 1,000,000,008,000,000 bodies, as already said. Half of them were female and the other half were male. And each of them, male and female gods, are called soulmates. You get what I'm saying? So our ancestors did not hide the fact that God transformed into man, and they taught it to the Nazarite priesthood, and they preserved it in their Genesis, their book of Genesis, right? Even though they were persecuted by the state, the Romans and all those people, the Greeks and everybody, the Luciferian priesthood persecuted them for generations, thousands of years, right? Burned their scrolls, killed them at the stake. You get what I'm saying? For preaching the original gospels in public, they got killed and persecuted. But they still protected the scroll, and in 1960 they sent the scroll to America, and the white man over there did a good job of translating those scrolls and presenting it to us in an English translation. Now we actually have two sources: the African secrets, right, from the Botswana tribe, and we also have the Nazarene Essenes, the Nazarites, telling us the same exact thing in two different ways. Now, lastly, I can do y'all one more from the Kikuyu tribe. If we look at their mythology from their tribe, which is very similar to Adam and Eve, right? Which is why Hollywood wanted to do their story, but they wanted them to make the characters white people, which is why they turned down the offer, the $2 million, But they have also their creation story that gives us a similar narrative. It's saying, I'm removing this is God now approaching the first Adam. Listen, in their mythology, Adam is first in heaven, then God brings him to earth. Now but his name is not Adam, it's Gikuyu. So let's do it like this. I'll just read. He said, I'm removing your presence in this dimension where you live a life of an angel to a physical dimension that you are at liberty to do good or evil. I'm taking you there to bring forth your own offspring who will fill the earth, and when they die, I will call them to this spiritual world because they have a share of my soul through you. You get what I'm saying? So they're not hiding the fact that God, the actual God that we're talking about in these biblical wisdom traditions, is actually inside of us. We are the actual representation of God in the physical world. Now, I almost forgot, but let's also look at the Quran. In Quran, when God creates Adam, God calls Adam Khalifa. Now, this word Khalifa is somebody who stands in place of someone else. You get what I'm saying? So now, physically, Adam is standing in place of God because Adam's the first person. There's nobody else for Adam to represent on earth except for God. So when God calls Adam Khalifa, that's also showing you that man is the physical presence of God